Got rid of some seconds? Let's learn about second intervals, and this should be really straightforward. We should be getting pretty good at this now. A second is just an interval that uses only two notes, from the bottom note to the top note, two letter names, and so they're likely to be very close to each other on the keyboard. The second is a very, very small interval. In fact, it's some of the smallest intervals we're going to find unless we have an interval that's essentially the same note. So let's build ourselves some seconds. Imagine if we had our C. We need to imagine, here it is, here's our C, and we were to take an interval going upwards to this next note up, which is a D. C to D will be some kind of second. And we'll also find a second if we go in the other direction. So if we start on our C and go down one step to this B, we've used two letter names. I'll start on the bottom note, so B to C will also be some kind of second. Let's do our trick of counting in semitones to see if they are actually the same type of second or whether they are different types of seconds. So here's our C, let's count up 1, 2, so it's two semitones between C and D. And what about between B and C? Well, from B to C is just one semitone. And so we need some names to talk about these two different types of seconds. We're going to have some seconds that have two semitones in and some seconds that have only one semitone in. And we call this type of second with two semitones a major second, and we call this type of semitone, the B to C semitone, a minor second. Now what's interesting here is because these intervals are now getting so small that they're actually made out of very, very small numbers of semitones, we've encountered steps or intervals of this distance before, and we called them something slightly different. So really there's no difference between a major second and a tone, which we said before was two semitones distance, and equally a minor second could be used to talk about a semitone. But sometimes it is useful to know both sets of words for what is ultimately the same idea here. So hopefully you've got a reasonably good idea of what a second would be if I asked you to find a note that was a major second up from A. How would you do that? Well, using our useful guide down here, we want a major second, so it's going to involve two semitones, and we're going two semitones up. We said we want the major second up, so here we are on our A, go up to A sharp, and then there we are on B, so that would be a B. And just the same way, we can say, well, how would I find a note that was a minor second below F? Well, here's our F, and we go down one semitone, and that gives us an E, so that would be a minor second or a semitone below F.